I never planned to return to the cabin. It wasn't out of fear, not at first, more like the sort of dread you get when a song ends and leaves a silence that feels too full, too loud. But Ellie wanted to go, and I'd always followed her, even when we were kids, even when we shouldn't have. We left Edmonton early in the morning, the sky still dark, the truck groaning beneath our weight and gear. The forecast warned of snow squalls sweeping across the northern woods. We didn't care. It was tradition. Do you remember the old bear traps? Ellie asked, glancing at me from under her wool beanie. I remember Grandpa never let us near them, I said, gripping the wheel tighter. Said something about them being cursed. She laughed. He said everything was cursed. The basement, the moose shed, even his own goddamn rocking chair. The road narrowed the farther north we drove. Thick pine forests rose like walls on either side. We reached the end of the cleared route by noon, where the trees closed in completely. From there, it was snowmobiles only. The trail was untouched. Perfect white. Untrodden. As we rode, I started to feel it, the heaviness that always settled over that land. It wasn't just the snow or the sky pressing down. It was the silence. No birds, no wind. Only the whir of our machines and the occasional creak of the trees bending with the weight of the world. We reached the cabin just before dark. It looked exactly the same. Caved-in roof corner. One foggy window. Woodpile out back, untouched in years. The place smelled like dry rot and dust. Still, it felt like home, or at least a memory of one. We unpacked, lit the fire, and settled in. That night, we found our grandfather's old journal in the drawer by the bed. The first few pages were harmless. Notes about hunting, tracks, weather. But the final entry was short. The voice came back. This time it sounded like Ellie. Ellie frowned when she read it. But he died before I was even born. Ellie reread the journal line, her brow furrowed. The voice came back. This time it sounded like Ellie. She looked up at me, the firelight flickering in her eyes. But that doesn't make sense. He died in, what, 96? I wasn't born until 98. I took the journal, flipping back through the brittle pages. The handwriting grew erratic toward the end, scratchy, rushed, sometimes dipping below the lines like he was writing in a storm. The last few entries were just one word repeated again and again. Outside. It's probably just some hallucination he had, I muttered, though I felt a chill along my spine. Or maybe he heard my name, Ellie said slowly, her voice quieter now. Maybe something was saying it. We didn't talk much after that. The wind picked up, rattling the small window panes. The snow started falling again, thick and fast, burying the trail we came in on. We cooked canned chili over the fire and played cards, but neither of us really paid attention. My mind was still on that journal. And Ellie kept glancing at the window like she expected someone to be standing there. Just after midnight, I woke to a sound. It wasn't loud, more like a breath. A whisper. Something brushing past the side of the cabin. I held my breath. Another whisper. Closer now. Then, Ellie. I sat up so fast I knocked over the lantern by my sleeping bag. Ellie stirred, mumbling, "What time is it?" "You didn't hear that?" I whispered. She looked at me blankly. "Hear what?" I didn't answer. I was already standing, peering out through the ice-fogged window. Nothing but white. Snow falling steadily into the void. Then came the knock. Not a pounding. Just a soft tap. Like a fingertip. Tap, tap, tap. It came from the far wall. The side facing the woods. The side with no windows. Ellie heard it too this time. She was wide awake now, crawling over to me. "Who would be out here?" she whispered. "No one," I said. My voice cracked on the word. "Exactly. Next entry coming up. Let me know if you'd like to receive several parts at once or one by one." You said, "Once." ChatGPT said, "Perfect. I'll continue the story in larger installments moving forward. Each part will maintain 2,000 characters, and I'll provide multiple parts in one response to steadily build the story toward the 100,000 character goal." The tapping stopped as suddenly as it started. We didn't move. The only sounds were our breaths and the slow creak of timber expanding in the cold. Then, outside, the snow groaned. A long, dragging sound, like someone pulling something heavy through it. I grabbed the old hunting rifle mounted above the door. It hadn't been fired in decades, but I needed something between us and whatever was out there. Ellie wrapped herself in a wool blanket and huddled near the fire. I saw something, I said, outside the window earlier. I thought it was the wind moving the trees, but it wasn't shaped right. You think it's an animal? Her voice trembled. Animals don't knock. At first light, I stepped outside with the rifle. The snow was knee-deep and still falling, but something had been there. Footprints, not boot prints, bare human feet. Thin, bony, spread too wide like the toes had been broken and reset wrong. They circled the cabin 3 full times, then led away into the woods. But there was something wrong. The tracks didn't lead to the cabin. No start point. No trail from the trees. Just appeared behind us. Ellie came out after me, pulling her coat tight. "They're barefoot," she whispered, staring at the trail. "It's -30. We followed the prints for only 20 feet before they vanished mid-step. No stumble, no turn, just gone. Like the thing had taken one step into thin air and disappeared. That day, we stayed close to the cabin, built the fire higher, boarded the window facing the woods. It felt like being watched, like the forest had eyes just beyond the tree line, always staring. Ellie dug through the old drawers and found more of Grandpa's notes. One was torn, blood-stained, but part of it was readable. It wears a voice. It watches with faces. Don't speak to it. Don't follow it. That night, the storm came. The kind of whiteout that makes the world vanish. It swallowed everything. Trees, sky, even time. You couldn't see 3 feet in front of you. The cabin shuddered with each gust. Snow seeped in through cracks. The fire struggled, its glow barely touching the walls. Around 2 a.m., Ellie sat up. "Do you hear that?" I hadn't. But then I did. Crying. A child sobs. Soft. High-pitched. Coming from inside the storm. I grabbed the rifle again, heart hammering. Ellie stood beside me, pale, listening. "Mom, is someone there?" The voice was wrong. Flat. Each word spaced out like it had been spoken by someone repeating what they heard once. I stepped toward the door, but Ellie stopped me. "What are you doing?" she hissed. "We can't ignore that. You read the journal. You know it's not real." I hesitated. My hand was on the handle when something tapped the glass again. This time harder. Ellie screamed. Outside the window was a face. Not a person. Not even an animal. It looked like skin pulled too tight over bone, lips stretched in a grin too wide. Its eyes were like holes punched into leather, no shine, no soul. And it was wearing my face. I fell back from the window, knocking over a lantern. The flame snuffed out in the snowdraft. Ellie scrambled back to the fire. I sat in the dark, staring at the boarded wall, breathing hard. "It's not you," she whispered. "I know. It's not you, but it wants to be." We didn't sleep. Couldn't. The crying continued outside for hours, changing pitch and tone. Sometimes it sounded like a baby, sometimes a man, sometimes me. Once it called out, "Open the door, please. I'm bleeding." Then, just minutes later, "It's me. I forgot my coat. Please, I'm freezing." But it was the same voice every time. Slightly off, like a puppet trying to mimic life. By morning, the crying had stopped. The storm had passed, and there were new footprints, dozens of them, bare feet, circling the cabin again and again. But this time, some led to the door. The snow at the door had melted slightly, just enough to reveal a small smear of blood. It looked like a palm print. Human. But the fingers were too long. Ellie refused to speak all morning. She sat near the window with a hatchet across her lap, lips chapped, skin pale. I tried to distract myself, checking the supplies, rationing the food. We had 3 days of canned goods, less if the storm returned. Every so often, I'd glance at her. She hadn't blinked in a while. "You all right?" I asked. She turned slowly. "It whispered my name last night. I didn't tell you." "What?" "It said it was you. But your voice, only almost." That afternoon, the light died early, too early. The sun hadn't even hit the horizon, yet the forest dimmed like someone had drawn a curtain over the sky. Then we saw it, out past the tree line. It stood completely still between two black spruce, just a silhouette. Thin, impossibly tall. No clothes, no details. Just a figure carved from shadow. We watched it for nearly an hour. It never moved. But every time I looked away, I swore it had gotten closer. Ellie whispered, "Don't look at it too long." I turned to her. "Why?" "Because it's looking back." That night, something knocked again. But this time, it spoke first. "I know what you're afraid of, Ellie." We froze. It hadn't even pretended to be someone else. It said her name like it had always known her. Like it had always been inside her mind. "I can be your mother," it said next. "I can be warm. Let me in." Then, silence. Ellie gripped my arm so tightly her nails broke skin. She didn't say anything for the rest of the night, just stared at the fire like it was the only real thing left in the world. I woke to the smell of burning hair. The fire had died down, but something was smoldering in it. I grabbed the poker and dug through the ash until I found it. A strip of scalp. Still steaming. Not old. Not decayed. Fresh. Ellie didn't want to look, but she did. "It's wearing someone again," she whispered. Another face. Her hands shook as she packed her bag. "We need to leave. Now." We set out at first light. Snowmobiles wouldn't start. Fuel line frozen solid. We took only what we could carry: canned food, the rifle, flares, and hiked toward the ranger tower we passed on the way in. The forest swallowed sound. Even our footsteps felt muffled. But I heard it anyway. A second set of steps. Behind us. Always just one beat behind. I turned to look. Nothing. But Ellie saw something. Her mouth opened. Eyes went wide. She didn't scream. She just said, "It's wearing Grandpa now." We reached the ranger tower by sundown. It looked abandoned, boards warped, door barely hanging on. But it was shelter. Inside, we found old supplies. Ration bars. Rusty tools. A dusty radio with no power. Ellie tried to sleep. I stood watch, rifle in hand. Watching the woods. Listening. Then I saw it again. At the base of the tower, standing directly below the trapdoor. Looking up. Wearing my face. It didn't speak this time. Just grinned. The next morning, Ellie was gone. I searched the entire tower. No sign of forced entry. Her coat was gone, her boots too. But her voice echoed from the trees. "I'm fine. Just getting firewood." The voice was cheerful. Too cheerful. I grabbed the rifle and ran outside, heart pounding. There were no tracks in the snow. Only my own. But still the voice kept calling. "Come on, lazybones." I found the trail. Then again, closer now. "Why are you hiding?" When I returned to the tower, Ellie was inside. Or something that looked like her. She smiled too wide. Her clothes were wrong. The coat was the same color, but no buttons. Her eyes didn't blink enough. I stood in the doorway with the rifle half raised. "Where did you go?" I asked. "I told you, firewood." Her voice was sweet. Too sweet. "And your boots?" She looked down. Bare feet. I didn't fire. I couldn't. Not yet. I backed away slowly, lowering the trapdoor. Bolted it. Stood above her. She didn't knock. Didn't speak. She just waited below. Silent. For hours. Then she whispered, "You're going to starve up there." I turned the radio back on. Static. Until it wasn't. "Help. Please." A woman's voice through the speaker. "I'm freezing. I need help." Then another. "It's me. Ellie. I'm safe. Come to me." Then, "You're already dead. You just don't know it yet." That night, I saw it climb the tower. Not Ellie. Not Grandpa. Just it. Naked. Long-limbed. Moving wrong. Like its joints bent both ways. I lit the last flare and threw it down. It screamed, not like a person, but like a moose being skinned alive. It fled. But now I'm out of flares. Out of food. And the thing keeps whispering from the dark. "Let me in." At sunrise, I crept down the ladder into the cold, expecting to find nothing. But there, just outside the trapdoor, was skin. Not bloodied or torn peeled. whole, like a costume unzipped and dropped. It was Ellie's face, her arms, her lips parted in a silent scream, but flat, empty. I vomited in the corner. Then I burned it. The stench followed me for days. The radio spoke again that night. This time, it didn't pretend to be Ellie or a stranger. It was me. Hey, it's okay. It's me. You can come down now. You don't have to be afraid. It mimicked my voice perfectly. Tone, cadence, even the subtle cough I do when I'm nervous. Let's leave together. It's cold, but I'll keep you warm. I screamed and threw the radio across the floor. It shattered, but the voice didn't stop. Now it came from beneath the floorboards. I started seeing smoke through the trees. Not from a fire, just little wisps, curling like fingers, drifting between trunks. Following them, I found another cabin. I swear it hadn't been there before. Inside, nothing. No dust. No decay. Just clean wooden floors and a table set for dinner. On each plate was a photo of someone I loved. Ellie, my mom, my childhood dog, all smiling. Then, behind me, welcome home. I didn't turn around. I ran. It's hunting me now. Not just watching. Not mimicking. Hunting. I hear it moving through the trees during the day. Low to the ground. Fast. I found claw marks carved into the tower's base. Too wide for any animal. Last night, I saw it dragging a deer carcass, half-eaten, bones cracked, spine exposed up a tree. It stared at me while it fed. Then it wore the deer's head, put it on like a hood, grinning, like it was learning how to become everything. I don't know how long I've been up here. I don't trust time anymore, or sound, or voices. I don't even trust my own reflection in the cracked mirror, because last night my reflection blinked before I did. I smashed the glass. It laughed. 2 nights ago, I saw her, Ellie, alive, standing at the edge of the clearing, wearing her parka, eyes wide. She didn't speak, just stared up at the tower. I shouted for her. She lifted her hand, waved once, then turned and walked backward into the forest, never breaking eye contact. She never blinked. I haven't seen her since. I don't think that was her. In the bottom drawer of the desk, I found a folded hide. Not paper, flesh. A map, drawn in blood and soot. Markings scrawled in symbols I don't understand. But one mark, a red X, was placed just north of the tower. Written beside it, "The hollow tree. Burn it." I set out at dawn. I found it. Twisted. Blackened. Hollow all the way through. Inside, bones. Hundreds. Small ones. Large ones. Human and otherwise. And skins. Tanned. Folded. Hung like laundry. One of them was mine. It was my old coat. My exact face. My birthmark behind the ear. I threw my lantern inside and walked away as flames consumed the thing's wardrobe. It screamed from somewhere behind me. Not in pain. In rage. It doesn't hide anymore. I hear it circle my tower during the day, snapping branches, laughing in broken voices. It's getting desperate. I carved runes from the journal into the trapdoor. Burned sage. Left food untouched. And still, it whispers. "You're so thin now. You'd fit right inside me." Last night, I watched it crawl across the clearing. Not walk, crawl. On all fours. Head twisted backward. Mouth open wide, tongue dragging. It pulled something behind it, a sled made of bones. On it, Ellie's body, still smiling. It left her at the base of the tower and whispered, "Your turn." This morning, I had a memory. Ellie and I as kids, playing hide and seek in the woods. She calls for me, giggling. But then, in the memory, she screams. A man in deer hide grabs her, pulls her into the hollow tree. I never remembered that before. Because maybe it wasn't a memory. Maybe it was hers. I woke to movement inside the tower. It was me, standing over me, watching me sleep. When I sat up, it smiled and said, "Sleep tight." Then it climbed out the window and leapt into the snow like a spider. I found a tin can nailed under the floorboards. Inside, letters, all addressed to me. Dates from the future, from next week, next month, next year. You don't make it. It becomes you. Burn yourself before it does. They were all written in my handwriting. I found the real journal entry. One grandpa ripped out. It doesn't wear faces to trick you. It wears them to learn. It watches you sleep, eats your habits, learns your gait, your breath, your thoughts, until there's nothing left but its version of you. I read the last line twice. If you start dreaming things it hasn't done yet, it's already inside you. Tonight, I burned the tower, poured every ounce of lamp oil, set every scrap ablaze. As I fled into the woods, I watched it scream from the flames, not with pain, but with fury. Because now, I know what it wants, and it knows I'm ready to fight. But the woods are endless, and it's not done hunting